This is Dave from Dave's Raised Bed Garden. I'm out here at the garden today. I'm actually came out here and doing a little stuff that around the garden that I'm trying to do, trying to get my garden beds prepared for my cool weather plants that I'm hoping to be able to plant or get started in just a week, actually on March the 3rd. My zone here in North Carolina, in Tobaccoville, North Carolina, is that our cool weather plants we can start growing or start planting, shall I say, starting on March the 3rd. This will be the cool weather plants that consist of the broccoli, the cabbage, the cauliflower, your peas, your early peas, your lettuce and other things that if we get a frost or anything, they should not hurt my plants. So it depends on the zone that you're in because there's different zones. I know the people in the northern regions will have a later season and everything, but you have to be able to figure out what zone you're in. The best way to do that is to go on a web page or go on the internet and find your zone by entering your zip code, and it'll tell you what zone you are and to allow you to know when to plant your vegetables. The other thing that I like to use, and I will actually attach it to this video, is that I use an app. It's called From Seed to Spoon. In this app, actually, I do the same thing. I entered my zone that I live in and everything, and then it gives me the best vegetables or the best plants to grow in my region and the time and everything that it uses that I need to grow it in. So that's another thing that I do, and I'll be adding that also. That's a good app to use, especially if you're brand new in gardening, because it breaks down each plant or each vegetable that you do based on the bugs that affect it, the different diseases and such, and it gives you a good avenue to follow as you're trying to plant and as you continue gardening and working with that vegetable or that plant. But today what I'm doing is I'm actually out here. I've done some cleanup this week. The rains kept getting me and everything and off and on, so I couldn't get out here as often as I wanted to. So I'll be cleaning up some around the garden, and then also what I'll be doing is I'll be adding some leaf mulch and some other things to my garden bed today. I want to amend it in there because March the 3rd is coming, and I have not had really good luck as far as doing the seedlings in my house and so forth. I'm new at that, and I'm trying to research it and kind of see. My best luck that I've had is doing or planting the seeds is actually in the actual beds. So I'm doing that. I will be adding that too. Now, two areas that where I like to get my plants or my seeds. The first one is a local garden center here in my region in King, North Carolina, which is Mitchell's. Mitchell's Nursery has a lot of good plants that I've had a lot of success with. I also use another one local, which is LTD Southern States. It's also in King also. They get a lot of local growers to bring in some plants too, and that you can get that's actually from this region that I can use, and I've had good success with it. But the other way that I do is that I do a lot of searching on YouTube, and one of the searches that I found out, and I said last year, is that M.I. Gardner, the gentleman Luke, he's from up in Michigan, and I've been using his seeds, and last year at the end of the season, I actually used some of the seeds that I purchased from him, and they did very, very well for me. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I'm actually going to put the seeds in the ground starting on March the 3rd on a few of them. So I'll get the plants and the seedlings because I want to see as far as what my plants will do, both from seedlings and then also already the plants that are established, and then be able to put them in the soil and let them grow. So I'll be doing a little bit out here today. I'm actually going to show you a little clips of what I'm doing, and I hope this will be a good information for you based on what I'm doing. I'm not a professional gardener, not by no means, but what I do is through research and learning and continue learning, and then the bad that comes with the good and everything. So I'll be doing that, and I'm going to be showing you that here in a little bit. So let's get started, and I'll show you what we're doing here in the garden today. What I'm getting ready to do, I've got some of my leaf mulch. I went all the way to the bottom of it. I actually worked that up. I didn't have a lot of castings on there that I could see in the area. But anyway, what I do is I take the top layer that is actually the dirt. I'm not digging down into it. I'm just taking that away. And then that's where the worm castings would be at. And then I'm taking the rest of the leaves that I have around that area. So I'm about 6 inches up, 6 inches to the ground. And I'm taking all of those leaves and I'm actually going to put this into my bed, and I'm actually going to show you that here in a minute, and I'm going to amend it and show you what I'm going to do to all the other beds and everything throughout my garden. So as you can tell, I've been through all of my beds. I've actually worked the leaf mulch in that I have, and I have combined it and mixed it into it and just worked it and everything into all of my beds I've gone throughout my garden. I've also taken the rake and I've kind of leveled it out and everything. We had quite a bit of rain this morning and then last night and everything. So coming out this afternoon, I'm taking every advantage I can and just try to accent or actually help what I'm doing and the cause of it and everything. But this shows you a little bit what I'm doing and what I've been able to do today and also yesterday. I'll come out here tomorrow and take a look at it. If I need to, I will amend it again, and then so forth until I get to the point to where I'm ready to plant everything. So I hope this has helped you to see exactly what I try to do with my garden. I started doing it last year and everything, and it really helped me more so than it did the year before. The year before, I actually covered it with plastic, and I saw some results that I wasn't happy with, and I had to really come out here and really work just a little bit harder. But what I'm doing and everything is just to accent or to help me in my gardening as I progress. Now you may ask, will I use all these beds for my early season crops? No, I will not use all my beds. I will probably only use the amount that I need based on what I feel that I'll be able to provide for my family and such, and that's how I'll do it. Now based on those beds, what I'll do is I will take from last year what I did and I will actually switch them up some, because it is really good, especially in raised bed gardening, to not use the same bed consistently all the time. That's why what I explained in a previous video, that on my potatoes, I started them every year in the beginning of the season. I wanted to plant something else there because that bed is my only really deep bed. And so by planting other things early and then coming out with the late season with the potatoes, I believe that it will actually help my potatoes more this year, because that's how it's always been with my potatoes. I've only used that bed, and last year, this past season, was the first time that I actually planted other crops like broccoli, which I did, and it did very well for me. So that's exactly, the reason. You want to switch them up. You just don't want to keep everything the same, because you want to add the different types of nutrients to your garden. And it also, it's like companion gardening in a sense. But what it does is that the nutrients that I get from one vegetable, it'll help and apply to the other ones. And so in that app that I was telling you about, it also gives you ideas of companion gardening based on what the friends and the foes are, or the bad things to them. Believe it or not, there's areas of gardening that you don't want to grow the same vegetables together. Because they go against each other and everything. So that's something more that I'll be explaining as we continue the videos and everything. And I'm excited to see what this year is going to do and everything. And I'm excited just to see how my garden's going to grow for me this year. And I just thank you for watching. And from Dave at Dave's Raised Bed Garden, until next time, take care.